Hi guys, it's Mandakini here. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make cookies, oats and walnut cookies. These are very easy to make. And normally it's just a healthy version of cookies. Normally we don't have cookies throughout the program, but maybe towards the end, at the end of the integration. And just so you have healthy cookies that you can have when you need something sweet or when you have some guests and you don't wanna go off your program, you're doing so well without sweet craving. These are very light on sugar and very healthy sugars. So with the oats, let's just start with the oats. With the oats, the recipe we're gonna make today is 100% gluten-free. So if you have a guest that is concerned about gluten-free, just so you know that you can buy rolled oats that are gluten-free. You can buy them at the health food store. You can even buy them Kohl's. So there are. Now you can, if you want it gluten-free, you can also use quinoa flakes. Yeah. Or you can replace it completely with coconut. But let's just go with oats. This recipe is with oats. If you don't care about whether it's gluten-free or not, I just use normal oats. Okay, so normal oats, we're gonna have a cup of oats. I'm just gonna follow the recipe that you have in the portal. Now then I'm gonna use half a cup of chickpea flour. I like chickpea flour because A, it's gluten-free and also it's higher in protein. So I'm putting about half a cup. You can put the whole cup if you want. It doesn't have to be half a cup. But just to get a little bit more texture and a little bit more flavor, I'm gonna put the other half cup with almond meal. Again, that still keeps it gluten-free. So basically, and you can change, it's very forgiving recipe. As long as you have the proportions of the dry and the wet, you're good to go, right? So I'm just gonna put, so I've got these and follow the recipes. Now the recipe is calling for half a cup of chopped walnuts. You can put almonds, you can put pecans, you can put any nut really that you like. You could put pepita, you could put seeds. Of course not with tamari, but you could put seeds. I've done with pepita, I've done with any. I just happen to have a mixture of almonds and walnuts, so I'm gonna put that. And then half a cup of raisins. Again, it could be raisins, it could be chopped figs, dried figs, it could be chopped dates, it could be even chopped prunes. Any of those will work in the recipe. So I'm adding this. And because my cup is a little bit bigger, I am just gonna top it up with a little bit of coconut. Just gonna add a little bit of coconut so I have the full cup because it size for half a cup. And look, these biscuits are very popular, so you can double it up or make a bigger, because they don't last long once you've got them. Then we need a pinch of sea salt. So obviously we're gathering all the dry ingredients. We need a pinch of sea salt. Now it doesn't mention in the recipe, but if you like, no problem, you can add a little bit of cinnamon. Just if you like that particular flavor, you can add a little bit of cinnamon to taste. You can add some ground ginger if you like. It's all good. I've tried a lot of combinations of these cookies and they all work. So that's good. So I'm just gonna mix them a little bit, no big deal. Remember the pinch of sea salt. So we've got all the dry ingredients. Now, while we've been doing that, hopefully we have boiled a kettle. So you would need a boiling kettle. So, and the amount of water is gonna vary a little bit. So what I'll do, I'll take the cup, I'll pour a little bit of water in the bottom for a moment because I wanna add the rice malt. Now this form of rice malt you can get with this particular cap. They sell it mostly at Woolies, but you can get it in a jar, also from the health food store or from Kohl's. And it was it's a bit cold at the moment when I'm filming, so I did have to put it in boiling water, to sit in a bit of boiling water. It was sitting here in the boiling water to just to soften a little bit. So the recipe says 2 tablespoons of. This jar is a little bit tricky. So, okay, I'm gonna need 2 hands for that. So about 2 tablespoons. Look, the only other sweetener that you would probably consider, if you like, is real organic maple syrup. That's the only other kind of healthy-ish one that I would consider. The other thing that we need vanilla. Now, I totally recommend to invest in good vanilla because this particular one is organic and it doesn't have, it's non-alcohol, because a lot of the other ones have the alcohol in it. So I invest a little bit more, but it is more expensive, and there's about a teaspoon that goes in. Okay, and then we just mix it, and now we're gonna need to top up the boiling water. So now I have 1 cup. And you mix it. And the recipe says 1.5 to 2 cups. So it depends on your oats, depends on your flour, depends on the temperature, depends on so many things. So we cannot be that specific about it. But you want it to be moist enough for the oats and the flour to absorb the moisture, because they're going to absorb and expand. You're kind of half cooking it in a way. That's pretty good. It's just over. I went just over. Maybe a little bit too liquid. You didn't need to go that liquid. I just put a little bit too much water, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to work. And once you give it a, see, there is no flour anywhere. I've given it a good mix. So now all we have to do is set it aside for an hour. So I'm just going to cover it with a clean towel, and it's just going to wait on my counter just till I have time. So just set the alarm for an hour from now. Okay, so we had the biscuits, we had the dough of the biscuits. We put it aside after we poured the boiling water. We let it settle for about an hour, a little bit more than an hour. You see that the oats have absorbed the water. This is absolutely perfect. Just before we start forming the cookies, it's a good time to turn your oven on. Turn it to about 160 degrees so it gets to heat up while we're forming the actual biscuits. And we're going to form them onto a tray. I put some non-stick paper, or you can have a tray and put a little bit of oil, non-stick, however it works for you. You can use a spoon or any form that you like. I have found ice cream scoop, not that we have ice cream, but ice cream scoop is very handy to make those biscuits. So I'm just going to go scoop and just place them along the tray. Doesn't take long. Now with the scoop, if you do it with an ice cream scoop, you'll end up with reasonably bigger cookies and less of them. So it depends whether, if you want a smaller cookie, you may end up using a smaller spoon or teaspoon or tablespoon. That is up to you. But somehow I found that in our household, this size is very popular. Look, those biscuits, it's always a good idea to make more because they are very moreish. And look, out of all the sweets that you can have, in all of this amount, we had a little bit of raisins and 2 tablespoons of rice malt for this whole amount. So during the program, we're staying away from sweets, but once you want something sweet, you know, once you want something sweet, this is probably a healthy-ish way to go. It's almost like a breakfast biscuit. Okay, once I've done this, you may need to, I find that I need to wash my hands, not really wash them, but I just need a tiny little bit of moisture on them to form it. You know, depending on how much water we put earlier, and while you form it, you want to make a little bit of a hole at the top, because that's the hole we're going to need for the jam. To be quite honest, I may have put a little bit too much water and it's a little bit sloppy. Look, they're still going to come out fine. but I would have probably been better off to have a little bit less water, but it's still going to be fine, so it's not a problem. I've tried these cookies in many forms. I've tried them with wheat flour. I've tried them with the basin flour like we did today, the chickpea flour. I've tried them with quinoa flakes. I tried them with all the different, with raisins. I did it with prunes. They always come delicious. I've had no complaints. Everybody loves those cookies. So we're nearly done with the forming. Just remember to put a little bit of a dent in it, just a little bit of a dip for the jam. And now we're gonna put the jam. Now for the jam, this is a brand that I actually like, the Saint Delfour. This is a strawberry jam, but what it does, this one doesn't have added sugar. So that's a good way to go. I'm happy with this brand. I've tried it with blueberries or whatever jam that you like, any combination. But I would probably avoid the non-sugar, the ones like from the diabetic aisle, which actually has maybe an artificial sweetener. This is just sweet from the jam, so there's been no sugar added. And look, after the program, please be light-handed on the jam. You don't want to go overboard with the jam because you're still quite sensitive after the program, and the sweet can just too much sweet can swell in your belly and just make your belly bloated. But it depends who you're serving it. You know, if you're serving it to people that are used to sugar, you may need to make it a little bit sweeter and give them a little bit more jam. So it's really a function to, but look, I have given these biscuits to people that are actually eating bags of lollies for their sweetener, and they loved it. They just gobbled them up, no problem. Ate them in the car. I gave it to them as a gift, and they already ate them in the car. They couldn't wait to get home. So, and just letting you know that they freeze really well once they're ready. We're gonna you can put some of them in the freezer. You can even pack them in like packets of 2 and just have them ready. You can give them to your kids to take home or to take to school or. Okay, so the next thing will be to just literally, your oven has been, the oven has been heated now. We're gonna put the biscuits there and we're gonna time it for about half an hour. But look, if your oven is very hot or burns kind of stuff, just maybe check it if you want to check it after 20-25 minutes. Sometimes people like it a little bit browner, so take it another 5-10 minutes, 35-40 minutes, but keep an eye on it. You don't want to burn the biscuits. They're too delicious to burn them. Okay, I'll show you once they're cooked. I'll be back. Good news, our biscuits seem to be ready. They've been 30 minutes in the oven, and I'm just gonna get them out. They're looking pretty perfect. I'm looking very happy with that. Yeah, just have a look. They are pretty much perfect. So what I'll do, I'll just take them off and put them already on a plate that is, you know, that will help cool them down. If you wanted them a little bit more not burnt, but better cooked, you see the ones at the front kind of got, because my oven seems to heat up at the front a little bit more than the back. They are too hot to try, but yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Enjoy them in moderation, guys. Enjoy them in moderation. It's very easy to get into this pile of biscuits and just have them. And when you start, if you're gonna have the biscuits straight after the program, just just have one, have half, see how you feel while your belly is nice and tight and we haven't had sugar for a while. Just notice, is it bloating after even that small bit of sweetness? Because if you jump over that experience, you will not know. You will just feel bloated and forget that that was the reason, and just get, start and develop again. We spend a lot of time during the program trying to starve those bacteria that are asking for sugar. But as soon as we give sweet, those bacteria are going to replicate and they're going to thrive, and there's going to be more of them. And the more of them are, they're going to ask for more sugar. But, I've given these biscuits, as I said, to people that eat lollies. They eat sugar all day and they were very happy with these. So enjoy.